I'm on that Tony Robbins.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Capital Gains Tax Solutions Podcast, where we believe most high net worth individuals and those who help them, they struggle with clarifying their capital gains tax deferral options. Not having a clear plan is the enemy, and using a proven tax deferral strategy such as the deferred sales trust is an amazing way for you to exit highly appreciated assets, defer millions of tax so you can create and preserve more wealth, or help your clients, friends, and family do the same. Hey, we're also streaming on expert CRE secrets as well, where we bring on some of the best real estate professionals in the industry to share their secrets about how they help their clients create and preserve more wealth in real estate transactions and investing. I'm excited about our next guest. Our next guest is out of Northern California, originally from the Aptos area, just near Santa Cruz. And he is focused on selling Northern California residential and commercial real estate. In fact, he has over 20 years experience in media production along with social media distribution. And he's able to show the value of Northern California properties in a way that it's unmatched. This equates to more internet exposure, more tours, and ultimately higher price and better offers for his clients. And he comes from a multi-generational real estate family, and he got to start in the industry working for a large institutional real estate investment corporation. And his biggest passion is leaving both buyers and sellers at each transaction with a smile on their face. Please welcome to the show with me, Brent Silberbauer. Brent, how you doing?
Doing great. Thanks for having me. Excited to be here.
Absolutely. And for our listeners getting to know you for the first time, and by the way, we're going to be talking about why Brent switched over to EXP. Excited to share his journey with everybody today, as well as a bit about his background, his expertise on digital marketing. So Brent, tell us a little bit more about your story and your focus at this time.
Yeah. So, like you said, multi-generational, real estate agent. My dad was a broker from the Bay Area. And then came up here, went to Chico State, graduated media arts degree, worked in the ministry world for a while, actually, probably 7 years, and developed my media skills, kind of mainly working for churches, switched over, did some work for an institutional investor. And that's where I kind of got introduced to the world of multifamily housing, investing, and they mainly invested in deferred maintenance, multifamily communities, 30 units and up. And so got a lot of understanding with real estate there. And then I launched out on my own. And then COVID hit and everything changed. And so I just kind of fell into, I had a friend who wanted to buy a large house. He needed to sell his house. And I said, okay, he wanted to hire me. And I was mainly trying to focus on multifamily, but I said, you know what, I'll sell your house. And I put together a video because we weren't doing tours and everything. And then basically that video got 27,000 views in our local area. People loved the video. And all of a sudden people started calling me because I have a media background and said, hey, can you make a video for me, for my house? I want to sell my house. And it was just basically off to the races. So I started intentionally trying to do commercial real estate, multifamily. And I just hit a little detour and I got into residential, which I've actually really enjoyed. But now I can do both. So it's kind of exciting.
Amazing. I think it's really exciting. It's really cool. Before we dive deep into kind of the reasons why you switched to EXP and a little bit about your digital marketing expertise and how to sell for a higher price and better terms for your clients, I do want to take one other step back, Brent. I believe we've all been given certain gifts in this life, and these gifts have been given to us to be a blessing and help to others. So go back to maybe the high school days, Brent. What do you think of those one or two gifts that you believe you were given, and how does that help how you help and bless people today?
Yeah, wow, that's a good question. So I think for me, it's just relationships, just being able to, connect with people. That's always been, I always, love people. And so that's probably just at a core essential, component. It's just connecting with people. But that also plays into sales, and I'm a firm believer, if you believe in what you're selling, you're actually helping people to inform them and educate them, just like you're doing with, deferred sales trust. You believe in, you're helping people. And so that, when you have that passion for people, you couple that with a product or a service that's, beneficial, I feel like it creates, just kind of that superpower and influencing others because you believe that you're helping them. So I don't know, it all revolves around people, connecting with people. So
beautiful. I love it. Yeah. Relationships, connecting with people, having a passion to help and have a conviction in what you have to offer and to be able to deliver that and help more people. Excellent. Well, let's dive right into the number one secret to joining EXP and or why you switched to EXP. Brent, maybe you have a couple, but let's just start with number one.
Yeah, definitely. Well, number one is the people, the values, the culture, basically. Uh, I went out to my first event, about a year ago. I was in Dallas. Someone was kind of, introducing me to it, and I couldn't believe the people that I met and how much their values aligned with my values. At the time, I was at a small boutique brokerage. I was really loyal to my broker, and so out of loyalty, I didn't switch. I stayed. And I gave my broker kind of my word. I'll be here 2 years. I'm going to give you for sure 2 years when I first getting started. He's an older guy, and so I stayed there. I didn't switch over immediately, but I knew if ever I was going to switch, it was going to be to EXP because of the people, because of the values, because of the culture. First and foremost, a lot to talk about technology and all this other stuff, but that's what did it for me, is meeting the people.
Excellent. Yeah, I think I had this similar experience where, I was skeptical, I was cautious, but I had someone that I know, like, and trust, and our business goals and kind of vision aligned with what I was doing with the deferred sales trust and capital gains tax solutions. And for those that don't know, I'm also a licensed commercial real estate broker. I sell multifamily properties here in Sacramento. In fact, that's how I got started. And as I met in mastermind and basically absorbed from some of the best in the business, I'm talking world-class, top in the industry in the real estate world, I said, maybe I'm missing something, right?
Yeah.
Maybe there's something bigger and better here that I could, partner up and business partner up. And so that became definitely clear to me. So I love the way you put that, the people, the values, and the culture. What would you say the number two reason is, Brent, for why you joined EXP?
Yeah, they're the first to market with the type of model that they have, really. It's cloud-based, and there's so many efficiencies and just effective ways to do real estate. So much, I mean, even after COVID, so much of what we're doing is online, signing documents, Zoom, all this other stuff. So they started, I believe, in 2009, cloud-based from the beginning, internet-based from the beginning. And so the technology that is the foundation of their platform, I think it's hands down, it's the best. But it's not just that. I mean, it's that plus the leadership at the corporate level. It's one thing to grow a brokerage of 100 people. It's another thing for 1,000. It's another for 10,000. You get more people, the more leadership skills you have to have. And then if you want to get up, now they're at 87,000, 83, somewhere right there. They're in the 80,000 range right now. That's a whole nother level of leadership that you have to have, and it works, and it's working very well. And so it's the technology plus the leadership that's driving the ship.
Yeah, let me touch on that technology. They have a cool thing where it's EXP world, where you're like an avatar and you can walk around. Think of it like kind of like a video game, but it creates a ton of efficiencies where you don't have to feel like to call people or just email people, where you can go into different, it's a virtual campus. And we've had university and government agencies take on what's called Verbella, which is this technology, which is remarkable that it's not just a real estate company, it's also a tech company. But it's also more than that. Like you said, you have to have great leadership. So lead us into number three, Brent. What would you say the number three reason is why you joined EXP?
Yeah, so it's the technology, the cloud. It's probably number two, but that stuff doesn't work without number three, and that's the leadership. And they may be switched around, and maybe leadership's two, and then the technology is three. But when I look at business, you look at Blockbuster versus Netflix, for example. This is a cloud-based platform versus a brick and mortar platform. Real estate has been brick and mortar forever. EXP comes along, they're the first ones that's cloud-based, but you can't just be cloud-based. You have to have a Mark Zuckerberg, a Steve Jobs, someone at the helm who is a genius, who could understand how to scale. They're not going to be the only ones, but they're the first to market with the leadership. When you combine that all together, you can see this is the next thing. I saw it. I'm like, this is it. This is the next thing. There's going to be more competitors that are going to do it exactly like EXP. They're going to copy it, but they're so far out ahead. The leadership, the people at the top I feel like are so gifted and skilled that it's going to be like when Facebook took over. It's hard to catch a company like that. Netflix, it's hard to catch them. The Amazons, it's hard to catch. Can you copy them? Yeah. But it's about, can you catch up to them now? I don't think so. And that's why I love being here. And yeah, so I'm along for the ride along with everybody else. So it's been
Absolutely.
great.
And by the way, some stats for those out there, it's now over, I think 84,000, maybe 87,000 agents now. There's about 1,000 agents a week that are joining. It's the fastest growing real estate brokerage in the history of real estate. There's never been a faster growing real estate company that we know of. And part of that too, which maybe leads into number 4 for Brent, is the model. So explain, Brent, what makes it, I mean, there's something to have technology and maybe that can be duplicated. There's something to have leadership and they can find good leaders. It's something to be first to market, right? And maybe they're second to market, right? But what is it about the model that was attractive that helps to attract, and I guess I'd even say kind of be the glue or the thing that keeps everybody kind of together and builds this culture of collaboration? Explain the model, Brent, for those who are wondering.
Yeah, absolutely. So there's a model called rev share. It stands for revenue share. So basically, in a regular brokerage, you have an agent, you have a broker. The agent goes out and sells something. The broker gets a cut, gets a percentage. That usually goes to a lot of overhead, office space, assistants, managers, all these different things. And it's usually, an 80-20, a 70-30, a split like that. There's, a lot of times a cap. So with EXP, it's kind of interesting in that they have a model by which everyone in the company, if I were to recruit someone to the office and they make sales, a percentage of that goes in my pocket, and it goes in the people's in the organization. It goes into their pockets, basically. So there's an incentive to recruit people, not only recruit people, but also to help them to do what's called capping, which is when you cap out, you sell enough real estate to max out that split, and then the agents keep 100%. But you are incentivized in a way that I haven't seen anywhere else. Keller Williams, Coldwell Banker, no one else has this thing. If I recruited someone to Keller Williams or something like that, for example, and they become a great agent, there's an element of they're your competitor, and you don't benefit at all. Maybe a little bit, but it's not really going to move the needle. With EXP, if I recruit that person, I benefit from them financially. If they recruit someone else, I also benefit from that person, seven levels deep. So the potential to do very well with a passive income stream solely from the rev share is pretty remarkable. It's exponential, basically, has an exponential growth capacity to it. Whereas I've seen a lot of agents here who are making, earning more in rev share and actually are kind of remove themselves completely from production, and they're solely focusing on building their team. And so it rewards that kind of leadership that can recruit people, that can develop people, and can help them succeed. And it can be anyone. Anyone can be a leader in EXP. You don't have to get, promoted up. It's just if you can build an organization, you can really prosper through that model. So it's production, but it's also the building the organization and rev share. I mean, the numbers are just like insane what's possible. So and it all comes back to helping people. I mean, the more people you help, the more you're incentivized to do so. And I haven't there's no model out there like that.
Absolutely. And I can't overemphasize this enough. And it's the whole idea of a lot of, I was at Marcus and Millichap selling multifamily properties. Part of the goal was to get on the other side of the phone and learn enough and earn enough so you could buy enough multifamily investments or other commercial estate investments that produce cash flow, so you can get some passive freedom, some passive cash flow freedom to do things that you want to do, whether it be travel or give more to charities or to start a new business venture or whatever it might be. And that was always the goal. How do you get passive cash flow? But one of the challenges is there is a lot of overhead. There's like, the international, then there's like the regions, and then there's, middle management, and then there's the agent, and the agent's the one that's producing, right? And you have all of this overhead in between. And yet EXP's basically taken all of that middle part and gotten rid of it through technology and really high-end leadership. And then they share in the revenue, which, by the way, Keller Williams has a similar model, but it's called profit share. In fact, profit share has been around for a while and helped Keller Williams become one of the biggest and the best in the world at real estate. And what EXP and Glenn Sanford, by the way, who we'd like to say is like the Steve Jobs of real estate industry. He said, you know what, I'm gonna do this on the very top. So for every dollar that comes in, 50 cents of the dollar is going to go towards our agents who help to recruit, train, and build up their other agents' businesses. And the other 50% will go into to kind of build the company. And it's worked remarkably. And if you think about it, if you read the book from Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, talks about being on the left side of the quadrant and the right side. The left side has to do with being an employee or being self-employed, whereas the right side has to do with being a business owner and an investor. And what EXP has figured out is through the brokerage model, without having to go buy a bunch of real estate, without having to take on a bunch of overhead or debt, that you can get on the right side of the quadrant and become, let's call it rich broker, pro broker, right? You can become a rich broker. You could be the guy who's making the money as long as you're helping other people close deals. So Brent, anything else you want to add to that part of it?
No, I mean, 100%. Yeah. I mean, you could build a business within a business.
Yep. And that helps to keep us glued together, right? Because there'd be times, Brent, when I would recruit people to Marcus and Millichap, or I'd send people to Keller Williams, and I would just, kind of train people up, coach them a little bit, send them on their way. Or even worse, they'd come in for a couple years, and then sure enough, they'd be, in the cubicle next to you, cold calling after a couple deals. So you might have a little bit of love for the first couple deals. Now they're calling the exact same people, and you're like, wait, it doesn't make any sense. Marcus and Millichap, the house would always win, but now you have an extra competitor. And it was like, how do you make sense of a financial alignment, right, and value alignment and business alignment long term?
Yeah.
Without having the model being rev share. And so that's the brilliance of what they figured out, how to be a cash flow brokerage. But that also leads into the next thing, Brent, which we want to talk about, which is stock. So talk about a little bit about the stock and how that works.
Yeah. So, I mean, stock's great too. I'm not an expert, but I mean, you're an owner of the company. So they're a publicly traded company. So you do get a stock discount basically. So every transaction I sell, a percentage of it goes to buy stock at a discount rate. And then you grow with the stock. So it has a built-in investment vehicle to it where you're buying stock, I believe it's a 10% discount. And I just put 5% of every transaction in there. And now I'm an owner of the company, and it's publicly trading. That's really unique for a real estate brokerage company.
Yep. So those are just a few reasons. Anything else that we didn't touch on so far, Brent? Or what's been the biggest surprise? It's been about 60 days. How's the journey going so far?
Yeah. So, when you're looking on the outside in, you don't always know exactly what it's going to happen. And so, full transparency, Brett, you're the one that got me in and introduced it to me. And you said, Brett, man, it's going to be over delivered. Just trust me. You're going to be part of the family. You're never going to experience anything like this. And so, I just trust you, I said, okay, let's do this. And so far it's been amazing. It's been fantastic. It has been the over deliver. I mean, we just got back from Dallas, and just the rooms that I was at, the tables that I was at, and the people that I was meeting, I was blown away. And again, it goes back to the people, the culture, all that stuff. I mean, it's been an amazing experience so far. Everything works too, by the way. Coming from a real estate brokerage with 3 agents, a broker, an agent, and me, two agents. If I had a question on a contract or how to write something up, my broker's out of town, or it's early or it's late or whatever, I'm having to call them. So the cool thing with EXP, I had a lot of questions about a certain structured deal. It's kind of complicated, and I needed to know how to write up. I went on the EXP world. Within 10 minutes, I'm talking virtually in it like an avatar, like a metaverse, to another broker, 30 years experience. There's brokers on call 24/7. And then within 10 minutes, I'm out of there. I'm uploading my contracts. He's like, hey, you write this, write it like this, structure like this, and I'm in and out. And so just, so at the fundamental real estate company, that aspect really works. And so that's awesome. And then all the other technology and organization building, I'm just getting into it. And so, but so far, so good.
Yeah. And by the way, the other thing I want to kind of mention is it encourages us to give away 10x of our secrets, right? And they want the other person to be 10x, successful. It creates a collaborative culture. And also it doesn't necessarily, you can't really put EXP in the box. It's EXP commercial, there's EXP residential, there's luxury groups, there's investors, there's syndicators. I do the deferred sales trust and I coach and teach others within EXP. There's 50 hours of live training on every single week. In fact, they have what's called icon recipients, where if you become an icon, you sell a certain amount of real estate, you get all of your cap back. It's a $16,000 cap. We didn't touch on this quite yet. It's an 80-20 split until you've paid EXP $16,000 in whatever your calendar year is. And then it's 100% commission to you. Commercial, it's 20,000, which is unheard of. It's typically 50-50 at Marcus and Mouch after the first 100,000. And then it was like 60-40 to 250. And there's breaks along the way, but you're starting over every single year. In this scenario, it's capped. So you sell, like I say, $100,000 of a commission, 20,000 in commercial would be capped. And then you sell another million. Well, all $1 million goes to you. But the point is, if you hit a certain number, you get all that cap back in stock. And my incentive is to try to help Brent to be so successful and so productive, so that he's able to build even more teams, and then also help those teams be successful. And what's cool about it is we can each come in with our specialty. And we talked about this in the beginning. I talked about Brent would share some of his secrets. And one of them is digital marketing for Brent, right? Yeah. That's his niche, right? That's his specialty. That's a whole nother level. Mine's like the deferred sales trust and exiting, eliminating the 1031 exchange. So we combine those two things and it becomes like a super powered opportunity for the seller to list and do and achieve some amazing results. So Brent, talk about the importance of digital marketing. And you wrote a book on this as well. Yeah. And it's a great book. Tell us a little more about that and how that works.
Yeah, so it's called The Digital Difference. It's all about leveraging technology and marketing to basically sell real estate. So like I said, when I first got started, I was doing multifamily. I was picking up the phone, calling, all this stuff. One of the investors wanted to upgrade his house, and so I made a video. And I have a media arts background, went to Chico State University and got a media arts degree. I had several media businesses in my background and was a director of media at a church. And so, I understand video production and content creation, which is super important. So we made this video. It's kind of like this HGTV style, kind of like, video. And then, I worked with a marketing guy, just an expert in marketing, about distribution. So really, digital marketing is about content creation plus distribution. Okay. And they're both vitally important. So one, content creation, you have to have something that's fast-paced, it's energetic, it makes people stop the scroll, say, wow, what is this? Holy cow, look at this house. And I've had multiple people, when I'm selling a house, they're not even looking for a house. They see the video come up on YouTube or Facebook as an ad. They look at it, and no joke, they get off the couch, they call their agent, and they make an offer over asking on the house, and they get it, Mm-hmm. So you got to get them to stop that scroll, create content that's interesting. We put a bunch of animations in our stuff. We do a bunch like funny things. We do all kinds of different stuff. But then beyond that, you have to have distribution. So you have to understand how to target people, how to get in front of the right people. And that's a whole other element of digital marketing, is getting in front of the right eyeballs. So, we target people in Chico, California, who are going to Zillow and Realtor and, Facebook, Google. They know it everywhere you go on the internet. Every keystroke is recorded, which I personally like my, privacy. But as a digital marketer, it's kind of nice to be able to pinpoint people who I know are looking and searching on the internet and on Google, for real estate. Now you can upload your whole database and it'll send it to their social media channels, your ads. So you kind of got to pay for play a little bit, or at least with my strategy. You got to pay. These are platforms that if you give them money, they will show your stuff to people. That's how they make a living. So I'm heavy in investing on ads and things like that. So
I think that's great. And by the way, we just launched collectively Luxury Lake Tahoe listing services to be able to help people sell 20, 30, 40, $60 million homes on the lake, defer the capital gains taxes, get the highest end digital marketing and video and content creation and negotiation that comes from Brent and I's background, and also have local expertise on the ground. We were able to build out our EXP organization really across all 50 states, as well also in Aptos, which is where you're from, Brent. Talk about Aptos. I mean, you grew up there, luxury, kind of high end. And maybe at the time it wasn't as much, but values have shot through the roof. So talk about some of the values there and what we were able to provide should someone want to sell something in your hometown.
Yeah, Aptos, Santa Cruz County. I mean, all the California coastal communities, so I lived there as, 90s, early 2000, and Yeah, it was kind of a deal. My stepdad was in Silicon Valley. He was a software manager, so he would commute over this hill, Highway 17, anyways. And so actually, the real estate on the coast there in Santa Cruz, Aptos, those kinds of areas were actually much less expensive. They were able to get twice as much of a house and commute. Nowadays, all the virtual working after 2020, I mean, gosh, those coastal to live on the beach, all that real estate has really gone up in value. So it's a great thing. But again, if you're going to sell a house, if you're going to sell real estate, in those areas, you got to show the value. It's a huge funnel when someone's looking for real estate, luxury real estate. You're gonna have people out of the area. You're gonna have people from all over the place, and it may be tough to get into that house. But through using quality digital marketing, videos, ad placement, you're able to show your house to thousands of people in a way that they wouldn't normally see it. And that's really what I specialize in. Walking through a house, selling the features. There's so much to a house that goes far beyond pictures and text. That's traditional marketing. So, put some pictures on the MLS, write a description, call your agent, and maybe you fly in or drive up for a tour. For me, I'm the selling agent. I'm going through the house. I am selling the benefits. I think through a 5-point sales strategy. I think through the avatar or the persona of who's going to buy this house. What's their objections going to be? How do we give a good first impressions? Sometimes there's things about a house that are maybe a little undesirable. And so how do we frame this in the best light up front so that when they go in, they're thinking about it as completely different. There's a whole lot that goes into the video and the script writing and all that other stuff. I mean, it's truly just a digital marketing sales process. Mm-hmm. But that has been proven to be super effective in getting people in the front door. More people see it online, more people walk in the front door, more people like it. And when they walk in the front door, basically the higher and more offers you're going to get for your house.
Excellent. And to talk about really like the luxury high end, like if someone's lived in a house that used to be worth $1 million and now it's worth 10, right? Mm-hmm. And it's a primary home and they have this huge capital gains tax and it doesn't qualify for a 1031 exchange, right? Yeah. Brent, how we would come in and help them. How would we do that?
Well, we just tag team, you're the expert in capital gains tax solutions, and so the deferred sales trust, that's what you specialize in. Obviously, you're able to defer all that tax, not pay it to the IRS. I mean, time value money, you want to be able to control that money, not give it away to the IRS. So, that's huge. And then I can come in as your luxury real estate agent, basically, and show and sell that property, to those buyers in that market. So, and I would love, if you're Santa Cruz area, I love that area. Trust me, I can sell that house. All my digital stuff, all that expertise, it's designed for luxury homes. 5, 10 million, whatever. Let's do this.
Absolutely. By the way, for those who are wondering, we've already actually closed one in Aptos, and it's with $7.9 million deals right on the beach there. And they actually had bought it for about $900,000 20 plus years ago. It was their family house. And then they did Airbnb, and then COVID hit, and they just became really a headache to try to rent out. But the value shot to about $8 million, and they're looking at a substantial amount of tax. And so we saved their failing 1031 exchange because at that point it was an investment property using the deferred sales trust. But we also did a primary home sale in Palo Alto for a client, an $8 million deal on University Avenue. And primary homes do not qualify for a 1031 exchange, but they do for a deferred sales trust. And so he was able to exit, defer the tax, move to Nevada, and start receiving payments from the trust, which is a really efficient way to work the strategy. And by the way, you can learn more about this in my brand new book called Building a Tax Deferred Exit Strategy. And it's the proven playbook for unlocking your ideal wealth plan when selling assets of any kind for yourself or for your clients. Works for cryptocurrency, works for business sales, works for stock, public or private, works for investment real estate. Really just about anything that's highly appreciated. You can check that out by going to Amazon. It's coming out here soon as well. We are running out of time. So Brent, are you ready for the lightning round?
Yeah, let's go.
All right. Knowing what you know now, if you go back to your 25-year-old self, what's the one golden nugget you'd make sure to tell yourself to do?
Oh, just, care about people. It's all about caring about people, genuinely, authentically loving people. That's it.
Beautiful. Question number 2, what's the number one book you've recommended or gifted the most in the past year?
Oh, good question. Stephen Covey, Habits of Highly Effective People.
Excellent. Question number 3. What are you most curious about right now?
Oh, most curious about. Probably at this point, let's see. I hate to say, well, actually, I don't hate to say it. Politics. I think it's just an interesting time for politics in America, especially. So probably
Yeah.
that.
There's a lot of curiosity going on there for sure.
Yeah. Like, what is
Uh,
going on here?
mhm.
Anyway, keep going.
Second to last question. What's the number one leadership quote or theme that you strive to live by?
Oh man, well, John Maxwell's classic, everything rises and falls on leadership, So that's a good one. I'm reading a book right now, Leadership, John Wooden on leadership, one of the best coaches in American history, classically known as probably the best coach in history. 10 NCAA titles, but he has a quote. I don't know exactly, but basically it's something like, if you give your best, you're a success. If you give anything less than your best, basically that's failure. It's not about winning or losing. Did you give your best in practice, in the game, whatever? And I love that, because we live in such a hyper, and I'm competitive, but like that comparison, model. I'm doing my best every single day to build up my business, and at the end of the night, if I did my best, I'm successful, and the outcomes are gonna take care of themselves. So
Beautiful.
that's basically what, one of his, but yeah. So
Love John Wooden. That is so good. I love that. Last question, Brent. After all your success, helping all the people you've helped, building the family you've built and the business you've built, what's the habit that you try to practice maybe daily or weekly to stay centered in your values and stay encouraged to charge forward to reach new heights?
yeah, I mean, just so I'm a Christian, so just reading the Bible, I feel like just the morals and values instilled there, just that's it. So 5 days a week, I have a Bible study. I have a little outdoor kitchen in my backyard, and I got guys that come through the backyard, and we get into the Word, and that's 6:30, 7:30, Monday through Friday. So that's how I stay grounded and keep the first things first.
Beautiful. And for our listeners who want to get in touch with you, Brent. Oh, by the way, I also want to encourage you and thank you for being on the show. I want to encourage you to keep using the gifts you've been given, which are, being great by connecting with people, being passionate about caring and really an authentic, amazing way. And I can say, becoming your friend now and being able to be on the same team, that's absolutely true about you. And as well, having a conviction in what you offer, right? To be able to go help people achieve their goals. I want to encourage you to keep using those gifts to bless and help more people. For people who want to get in touch with you, Brent, what's the best place for them to find you? Maybe you can Instagram, YouTube, your website, kind of just tell us where it's at.
Yeah. Instagram at Brent Sells Chico, Brent Silval Real Estate on YouTube, bunch of good stuff there. And then my main website right now, BrentSellsChico.com.
Amazing. Hey, Brent, thanks for being on the show. I also want to thank our listeners for listening to another episode of the Capital Gains Tax Solutions podcast, also streaming on Expert CRE Secrets, where we believe most high net worth individuals and those who help them, they struggle with clarifying their capital gains tax deferral options. They also struggle, if you're in real estate, figuring out a model and a company that can deliver on so many fronts: rev share, technology, collaboration, culture, and stock, being an owner, and being and connecting with those who are going to be intimately involved in helping you succeed. It can be hard to find, and we want to encourage you and challenge you to reach out to Brent or I to discuss the EXP model, to discuss ways to partner and to strategize and to build your business. We're building a business across the country with luxury real estate agents, commercial real estate brokers, M&A advisors, business brokers, all centered around delivering and using our gifts to bless one another, to help each other level up and deliver at a higher level for our clients and partners and family and friends. So you can check us all out, connect with Brent on this one. And if you're watching this video, and then if you want to get in touch with me regarding the deferred sales trust, you can check out our book that's coming out, Building a Tax Deferred Exit Strategy. As well, you can go to capitalgainstaxsolutions.com, where you can sign up for the free mastermind that's every Friday, and you can look at a consultation for a live deal. Thank you so much for watching this. Please rate, review, subscribe. Please share this one. It can be inspiration and help too. We so